This is Timothy Barr from MLW. Make sure you give a listen to one of the greatest podcasts in the world, True Heel Heat.
Oye, te habla tío Sabio Vega. This is Sabio Vega and you watching True Heel Hit a mi manera o pa' la calle.
What's up, guys? This is Wolverine, Death Machine, Mr. GMSI himself, Frankie Kazarian, and you're watching True Heel Heat. Who better? Nobody.
Hello. It is me, your True Heel Phenom, SP3. We are back once again with another pay-per-view review. This time, we are discussing and reviewing TNA Rebellion 2025. And yes, I'm riding solo for this one. No help needed for this one. Let's talk some TNA Rebellion. Doing this for all of y'all who wanted, who requested we do something on TNA Rebellion. We did the preview. Shout outs to Cresta Star for joining me for the preview on last Friday. We're doing it a little bit later in the week for this one, but I'll go through the show very quickly, give you my thoughts, give you the breakdown of the matches, what I thought about each match, my star ratings for each match, and overall what I thought of the show. But let's go through it and talk about it. The pre-show, the kickoff show for TNA Rebellion featured a 6-woman tag team match, trios action, as WWE NXT's own Fatal Influence were going up against Rosemary, Xia Brookside, and Lei Ying Lee. This one was set up from Fatal Influence appearing on TNA Impact over the last couple of weeks, and the Fatal Influence crew were the ones who picked up the victory in this one. Brookside wanted to go and use, well, Rosemary gave Xia Brookside some brass knuckles, but Brookside didn't want to use them, so she throws them back, only to get rammed into Rosemary, and it led to JC Jane hitting her big discus punch to give Fatal Influence the victory here. This was a quick matchup with the 6 ladies getting under 10 minutes, went just over 9 minutes for this one, with Fatal Influence picking up the victory here. I gave this one 2.5 stars, not too bad on this kickoff show. Meanwhile, you had also on the kickoff show the Walk with Elijah open challenge. Elijah sang a song about the greatness of Los Angeles, and his opponent was none other than someone we're familiar with here on the True Heel Heat YouTube channel from TMDK and New Japan Pro Wrestling, Shane Haste. Hysterical Shane Haste. This was a pretty decent matchup here as well. Shane Haste showing his technical ability, learning from Zack Sabre Jr. very well. Hits a nice little Falcon arrow and looked like he was on the verge of victory, but he got a kick out. We get a jumping knee from Elijah, and then he hits him away with his tombstone power driver, which he calls the Highwayman's farewell for the 1-2-3. Not much to this one, but like I said, a decent matchup here. I gave this 3 stars. Elijah picking up the victory, gaining some momentum on TNA. But before we get into the main card for TNA Rebellion, y'all know the deal. Y'all know what you do. I just had to wait a few minutes to let y'all know. Drop the thumbs up on this video. Share this video with all your wrestling fans, friends, and family on all your favorite social media platforms. If you are new to the True Heel Heat YouTube channel, hit that subscribe button, hit the bell to stay notified for all the great content here. And of course, sound off in the live chat if you're watching us on the premiere. But if you're watching us on demand, let me know in the comments down below what you thought about TNA Rebellion. Give us your star rating. Give us your opinions on what you thought about the show overall. But let's get into it. Let's get into the main card for TNA Rebellion 2025. And it started off with a hot one, the Ultimate X matchup. You had Leon Slater, Sidney Akeem, Matt Cardona, Casey Navarro, El Hijo del Vikingo, and the champion Moose. El Hijo del Vikingo came out with his 2 biggest fans. I thought it was his sons, but apparently they were just local fans from Los Angeles. Moose came out with a cowboy hat, and boy, oh boy, was this one a lot of fun. You have the first person to use the cables to get the belt belt, of course, and hit the mat with both feet touching the mat, is the champion, which become a key factor in this one. You get a huge brawl at the start. Leads just Cardona and Moose going for the belt when all the high flying experts went and tried to basically pull themselves across the cables to get to the title. Moose and Cardona use steel chairs to bring them down and knock everyone else off. Vikingo and Navarro stayed inside for a bit. Vikingo hits a big drop kick. Navarro knocks him to the floor, but Sidney Akeem is in for the save. Sidney Akeem hits a beautiful moonsault off the top rope onto a pile on the outside. Slater is in the ring. He hits a super kick on Moose before going back up to the cables. Vikingo comes in, breaks that up with a drop kick, and then Navarro goes for the belt only to get pulled down. Sidney Akeem goes for the belt but flips up above the X but crashes onto Moose rather than going for the belt. Vikingo comes in and gives Sidney Akeem a Canadian destroyer onto the apron, which will look really bad. But he gets chokeslammed by AJ Francis, who was in Navarro's corner. Moose spears Francis down and then powerbombs Navarro, only to walk into the radio silence from Matt Cardona here. Then we get Leon Slater for the spot of the night and the TNA probably spot of the year that is still being talked about on social media. Leon Slater goes all the way to the top of the truss that was holding the X, and he hits one of the craziest moves ever, the Swanton 450, which is one of the best finishing moves in all of wrestling today, off of the 15-foot high truss, and no one except for AJ Francis tries to catch him. AJ Francis did his best in trying to break the fall a little bit, but man, Leon Slater crashes down to the floor. Barely anyone caught him. AJ Francis said on social media that he was the only one that tried to catch him, and he almost broke his shoulder, tore his rotator cuff trying to do it. It's one of the most death-defying spots you will ever see. This is going to be on the highlight package for all of TNA for years to come. This is one that's going to be there with the AJ Styles flip off of the Ultimate X as one of the greatest spots that's ever been used in an Ultimate X matchup. But Leon Slater is so badass that when AJ Francis checked on him, he responded, "Yeah, I'm fine. I'm a Hardy boy." Got up, started posing. He made his way back in somehow. He goes to the top. He scales the cables. He grabs the belt. He actually comes down with the belt. His feet hit the mat, which is supposed to be he is the victor. But Moose is a little bit late, on the spear. He knocks the belt out of Slater's hands, and then Moose grabs the title to become the victor of the matchup. This matchup went just about 15 and a half minutes, but this was the insanity, the action-packed spectacle that has made Ultimate X the signature matchup in all of TNA. I love this matchup, especially for the Leon Slater spot, despite nobody catching him. A lot of people looking at a certain deathmatch royalty, but this one is a memorable one. I gave it 4 stars. Great matchup, great performance by Leon Slater. Vikingo, Navarro, Sidney Akeem all play their roles, bringing the high-flying style, and Moose was the heel and not even climbing the cables once and still winning to grab the championship. We get a highlight package of Joe Hendry at WrestleMania and the reactions to that online. And then we go into a 4-way matchup for the TNA Knockouts World Tag Team titles. Ash and Heather by Elegance versus Metaphors, Jakara Jackson and Lash Legend versus Gigi Dolan and Tatum Paxley versus Spitfire. A lot of cool action in this one. You get Lash Legend tossing Jakara onto a pile on the outside. The finish of this matchup is when things get interesting, where we get a pair of Tower of Doom spots in each corner, where the muscle of 2 of the teams, with Danny Luna for Spitfire and Lash Legend for Metaphor, they come in and they power bomb the pile down. But Maggie Lee makes her way down to ringside. The camera caught her when she was supposed to be off camera, which was a little bit of a botch, but I'm not going to hold that against them. She holds on to Ash by Elegance on the top rope, which allows her to not go down with the rest of the Tower of Doom. Lash and Danny, they punch each other and they do a double down, and then Ash is able to hit the rarefied air on Jody Threat to pick up the victory for the Elegance brand to retain the TNA Knockouts World Tag Team Championships. The action was fun. There was too much chaos to kind of keep track of everything, but still a fine matchup here. I give it 3 stars. The ladies did well in this one. Next, we saw Elijah saying that he's ready to see Joe Hendry retain the TNA World Title. And then we go to a trios matchup of the system. Yes, Moose has to do double duty on this show because the JDC had travel issues and couldn't make it to the show. He was supposed to team with the other system members, Eddie Edwards and Brian Myers, to face Ace Austin and the Rascals. This one was a fun matchup because we had a special guest appearance from none other than WWE Hall of Famer, 2-time WWE Hall of Famer and former X Division champion Sean Waltman is here, and he's in the corner of the Rascals and Ace Austin, who came out in their best DX gear. Ace Austin playing the role of Billy Gunn. Trey Miguel had on pants similar to Road Dogg Jesse James, and Zachary Wentz was his idol, Sean Waltman. The fun action here, especially with the baby faces, who were just a fun tag team together and doing a lot of DX spots, like Ace Austin hitting the Faymaster, Wentz Trey Miguel doing the Road Dogg shaky jabs, Wes doing the Bronco Buster. We get a spot where Sean Waltman comes in, he ducks a right hand from Ash by Elegance and gives her the X Factor, which leads to a big crotch chop by the baby faces and everyone doing the Bronco Buster, even Waltman. Waltman hits some spin kicks on the heels. Moose is countered he goes for a spear, but that's countered into an X Factor, and then Zachary Wentz finished things off with a UFO cutter and pins the X Division champion here. Very fun matchup, goes just over 11 minutes. The baby faces had the crowd behind them in a very fun matchup here. I give this one 3.25 stars. Good action here and fun work with the baby faces getting the crowd into things. We see Steve Maclin backstage. He won't say anything, but he smirks about Eric Young after he got roofied by Eric Young on Impact. Impact is so crazy sometimes. And we get TNA International Championship up for grabs. Steve Maclin defending against Eric Young. This one is a bitter rivalry, former friends turned enemies. Eric Young's been trying to make Steve Maclin part of the Northern Armory, but he's been against the Northern Armory even before Eric Young was the leader, when Josh Alexander was the leader last year, and now he is hell-bent to retain the TNA International Championship, while Eric Young wants to win the one title he hasn't won in TNA. Early on, Maclin gets rid of the Northern Armory, and he has things very settled here. Puts Eric Young in the tree of woe and tries to go for a big spear, but Eric Young knocks him down again. The top rope, a double axe handle, he gets a 2. They go to the apron where Young hits something like a Samoan drop onto the apron and only gets a 2 count, but Steve Maclin is eventually able to put Eric Young in the tree of woe and hit the big spear. Young tries for a power driver, but Steve Maclin is able to reverse that into a jackknife pin to pick up the victory and retain the TNA International Championship. This one going 9.5 minutes. Post-match, another Armory jump Maclin, and they use a chain led by Eric Young in hanging Maclin, leaving him laying, and Eric Young holds up the TNA International Championship to let us know this rivalry is not over. This was decent, but I've seen better from both men. I gave this one 2.75 stars. Not their best work, but we would get some great work in the next matchup. We get a recap of the whole rivalry between Mike Santana and Mustafa Ali, which has been the best rivalry in all of TNA currently. And we get that matchup up next. Mustafa Ali versus Mike Santana, Falls Count Anywhere. Mustafa Ali gets a big entrance with a drummer and dancers playing. He has the great hands by his side, while Santana has some boxers as he makes his way through the through the crowd with some champion boxers by his side, and we get a quick start with Santana starting fast. He back body drops him onto the floor for a big crash. The steps are loaded up, and Ali's dive into it sends him right into the steel steps in a brutal looking spot. Santana pins him on the floor for a 2 count. They fight into the crowd where Ali climbs to a balcony for a big dive right after Santana did a moonsault off of the lower balcony stage. He does a big dive onto a big pile of his attendants and everything, and Mike Santana in that pile as well. They fight back to the ringside area where they set up a table, and Ali hits a beautiful looking 450 splash after the Great Hand set up a table for him. The Great Hand tried to handcuff Santana, who gives them both a rolling buck 50 cutter. He then handcuffs them to the ropes, and he grabs a barbed wire bat from under the ring. Ali knocks it away and gets caught with a Spanish fly by Santana. Tasha Steelz makes her way out and whips out a table, only for Mike Santana to power bomb her through the damn table in a crazy looking spot. In this one, we get another table set up in the ring, and Santana winds up hitting a crazy looking superplex off of the steel steps that was set up in the corner that had the Great Hands up against it, but he only gets a 2 count for that one. Ali eventually grabs the barbed wire bat, and he uses it against Santana, busting him open, scraping the bat across his face. He gets busted open, but Ali takes too long bragging about it as Santana pulls up behind him like a horror film villain. He then turns him inside out with the spin the block. 1, 2, 3. Mike Santana defeats Mustafa Ali in an awesome matchup. This was absolutely terrific work from both men, culminating what's been the best rivalry in TNA wrestling this entire year. Santana with another signature victory at a TNA pay-per-view, coming off the heels of his huge victory over Moose last year at Bound for Glory, and Josh Alexander in the I Quit match at Genesis. He picks up another great victory in a Falls Count Anywhere matchup. This one is the one matchup that I would say for sure, go out of your way to watch. 4.5 stars. Absolutely tremendous work from both men in really feeling like a blow off of what's been a bitter personal rivalry between the two on Impact. Next up, before we get to our TNA Knockouts World, we get former WWE superstar and former NXT Women's Champion Indi Hartwell is in the front row, and she announces that she has officially signed with TNA Wrestling and has crossed the line. Congratulations to Indi, who's been working really hard on the independent scene since being released by WWE back in November, and now she's going to make a home in TNA Wrestling. And she was in the front row to watch the next matchup, which was for the TNA Knockouts World Championship. Masha Slamovich defending against Tessa Blanchard. Tessa Blanchard was getting booed out the building. Your racist chants. At one point, they were chanting CM Punk and Roman Reigns just to be like, we don't give a fuck about Tessa Blanchard here. But this was a very psychology-based limb work type of matchup. Tessa was working over the leg of Masha Slamovich, putting her in like Indian death locks and stuff like that. Slamovich was trying her best, would make it to the ropes after the Indian death lock. She tries to go up top, but gets pulled down into a running magnum by Tessa for a 2 count. Back up top to the top ropes, and Slamovich uses the ropes to hit a sit-out powerbomb for a 2 count. Blanchard is right back. She hits the buzzsaw DDT, but only gets a 2. But Slamovich catches her when she goes to the top rope and hits a super Death Valley driver. She hits a running knee that knocks Blanchard silly. She goes for the cover, but Blanchard is able to kick out. Slamovich immediately goes into a disarmer submission. She gets the tap out victory to retain the Knockouts World Championship. This had a big fight feel. I was expecting a little bit more from that. I think Tessa did a good job with the leg work and the limb work, but Slamovich is hard hitting. She is great at what she does. This was a rock solid matchup between the two. I gave it 3.5 stars. I just wanted a little bit more from it. I think if they would have turned up the intensity and the pacing a little bit, this could have been great. Next up, we get the TNA Tag Team Championships up for grabs, as the Nemeths are not the champions. They stole the belts from the Hardy compound, but they're versing Matt and Jeff Hardy, the Hardy boys, who got the biggest reaction of the night. These fans love the Hardys here. And surprisingly, I thought that the Hardys would win because of their popularity and how important they've been to TNA, but this was not the case. Despite them looking like they were on the verge of victory after poetry in motion and a side effect connect, Matt Hardy accidentally bumps into the referee, which breaks up the count in a weird moment. Ryan Nemeth breaks up the Swanton bomb attempt. He hits a neck breaker on. Matt Hardy hits a neck breaker on the floor. We get a power bomb into chairs that was reversed into a backdrop, which takes Matt Hardy out of this. We get a distraction from Ryan Nemeth, which allows Nick Nemeth to get a low blow and then hits the danger zone. Ryan Nemeth tags himself in, and somehow, someway, the Nemeths win the TNA World Tag Team Championships in just under 12 minutes. Hardys don't need to be the champions because they are way more over than they need to, but Ryan and Nick Nemeth needed this victory to solidify themselves as a tag team, so I get it. But the match, it was fine. It was solid enough work. Gave it 3 stars. And then finally, you had the main event. Joe Hendry defending the TNA World Championship against Ethan Paige of NXT and Frankie Kazarian. Joe Hendry is so over. He's probably the second most over guy on the entire TNA roster behind the Hardys, but he got a big reaction here. Ethan Paige got a big reaction, felt like a superstar coming, and this was a lot better than I thought it would be. These are 3 guys that are not known for their in-ring work, but I thought they gave us a lot of 3-way spots that were inventive and kept the action flowing. They cut a good pace throughout this one, never without a dull moment. You get Frankie Kazarian, he goes for the fade to black, but that's cut off. We get a Tower of Doom spot in this one with all 3 men working together to create some big moments throughout. One point, you get Ethan Paige freaking doing a belly-to-belly suplex into the timekeeper, taking them out at one point. You get the hanging DDT by Ethan Paige. We get an attitude adjustment through a table outside on the floor. This action was fast and furious and always moving. It comes down to Hendry fighting off Ethan Paige. Ethan Paige hits a cutter on the title belt. Looks like he's going to get the win that way, but Hendry somehow, some way kicks out. Hendry fights up and hits a quick fall-away slam and then finishes off Ethan Paige with the standing ovation. 1, 2, 3, just under 14 minutes. Joe Hendry retains the TNA World Championship in a very good triple threat matchup. I gave it 3 3/4 stars. I think all 3 men worked really hard in this one and delivered in the main event spot and giving us something that felt worthy of being for the TNA World Championship. And then even better than that, as Joe Hendry celebrates, he gets caught off guard by none other than NXT's own former 2-time NXT champion, Trick Williams. Trick Williams catches him with the big discus boot, and then he follows things up by hitting him with the trick shot knee, and he picks up the TNA World Championship, raises it in the air, and boy, oh boy, that was an impactful way, pun intended, to end this pay-per-view. Overall, TNA Rebellion was a solid show. Solid show is the best I can give it. Pretty good. Not good, but pretty good. Pretty good show overall. I think it really picked up with the Santana and Ali matchup. You got a standout TNA Match of the Year candidate on this show. The triple main event, I think other than the Hardys and the Nemeths, everything kind of delivered in the spot that they were supposed to be in. I think the Hardys are so over that they had to be later in the card to make a sense of being in that main event spot, but very solid event overall. So Put our thumbs in the middle. Let me know in the comment section or in the live chat if you gave this show a thumbs up, thumbs down, thumbs in the middle. Out of 10, what did you give this show? Whether you, what was your match of the night, MVP and LVP? For me, I'll give it a thumbs up. Give it a thumbs up overall. 7 out of 10 show. I think I'm being generous, but I'll give it a 7 out of 10. I think that the Mustafa Ali and Mike Santana matchup combined with the Masha versus Tessa and the main event pushes this from a thumbs in the middle show to slight thumbs up show. So I give it a 7 out of 10. Match of the night, easily. It's Mike Santana versus Mustafa Ali. Nothing on this show is must watch except for that. That is the must watch match on this show. So go out of your way to watch it. MVP for the show, I'm going to give it to Joe Hendry and to Trick Williams. I think that's going to be the big noteworthy moment. So if there's two things you're going to watch on the show, it would be that ending with Trick Williams showing up and then the Mustafa Ali and Mike Santana Falls Count Anywhere matchup. LVP for the show, I was going to say everybody but Leon Slater in the Ultimate X matchup for not catching him. Yeah, and Moose because he mistimed that finish. I didn't like the finish to the Ultimate X matchup. I would say the Ultimate X is another matchup to go out of your way to watch it, but it's really the Leon Slater moment. So that, and I'll give Leon Slater moment of the night with the Swanton 450. But other than that, it would be the Trick Williams ending as well. But overall, good stuff from TNA Rebellion. I might be doing more of these for the TNA pay-per-views, a quick under 30 minutes review with one person instead of like our full-on pay-per-view reviews moving forward. Maybe if this gets a lot of attention, if this gets a lot of viewership, you give it a thumbs up, show me some love, and tell me you want to see more of these TNA coverage with the pay-per-views. Maybe I'll do more and maybe I'll get a guest next time. You let me know in the comment section below. Want to thank you all for watching. Drop the thumbs up, share this video, subscribe if you are new, and let me know in the comments down below what you thought about TNA Rebellion. Check out all the great content we got on the True Hill Heat YouTube channel right now, like our NJPW Wrestling Duntaku 2025 preview. We also did a Stardom All-Star Grand Queendom review for that show that was on April 27th as well. But until then, it is me, your True Hill Phenom SP3. This has been our TNA Rebellion 2025 review. We are signing off.